could have known, one beyond my wildest dreams. Maybe that one could have carried me to streets of gold. Things aren't always as they seem. Looking back on all the chances that I missed, somehow else slipped away. One street over where my memories exist. I wonder what would change. I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. So they gave no second guessing. I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known, would have kept me from what I had today.
Good morning, Robertson County and points beyond. This is 1100 WFCGI. I'm Utah Laverne, and this is One Street Over, and it's Friday. Oh my goodness, a week from today, teachers are going to be back in for in-service. So kiddos, yes, it's just your last week of freedom. And they're like, shut up, Miss Vivio. But summer's almost over. School starts a week from Monday, so we're going to welcome you back to the classroom. And my husband, new teacher, he's going to be up at Springfield. He's in teacher orientation today. And so we're just so excited to be a part of the school system. But more about that another time, because I've got so many things I got to cover today. First and foremost, happy birthday, Rowan Gray Vivio. Happy birthday to my grandson, the one who made me mama. Today, Rowan is 7. I cannot believe it. Happy birthday. I love you, Rowan. Rowan Gray Vivio. He carries my middle name as well, and that's an old family name. So that was such an honor for them to use that name. But Rowan Gray Vivio is 7 today. Happy birthday, young man, and can't wait to celebrate you later tonight. We've actually been celebrating for about a week, because that's what you do with little kids. You party for weeks on end as you approach their birthday. So, but we're celebrating him again tonight, and then tomorrow is my daughter-in-law Rachel Vivio's birthday, and she is going to be the one who's making me a grandma again, a mama again. My 4th grandson is due in November, and sweet Rachel's birthday is tomorrow. So happy birthday, sweet girl. I just love having this big family, and I didn't have any girls, but I've got all these girls through my daughter-in-laws, and they're all just so wonderful. So happy birthday to Rachel tomorrow, and to Rowan today. Mama loves y'all, and so there you go. And there's my usual just hi and shout out to my family when the birthdays happen. My biggest fear is I'm going to forget one someday, and I'm going to forget to do that, but that's going to be a problem. But I did not forget today, so happy birthday, you guys. And so moving on into the show, I know everybody knows this is the Faith Friday segment. Typically, if I'm a little nervous, there's a reason, because there's a very important guest in the studio with me, you guys. So this is normally when we do our Faith Friday segment, but I have a friend of mine. His name is Carlos Clemente. How are you doing, brother? Get on that. You know how the microphone works, brother.
Yes, I do.
Oh, come on.
Hey,
I love it.
I don't do this much anymore.
I know you don't, but here's the significance of this, guys. This is huge. Okay, so Carlos and I have known each other since 1984. Carlos now lives in California. And he comes into town once a year because we have the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame dinner and induction. So tomorrow is that dinner. And so Carlos is in town, and he pops up on comments quite a bit. And he said, "Hey, I'm going to be in town." He just was asking about the show, and I'm like, "You're in town on Friday? You've got to come in." And so he's okay, because here's the thing. This is the man who hired me in Nashville. Gave me my first radio gig in Nashville. Thank you. I just can't say enough.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm so proud of you, and when people ask me how my career started, it always starts, well, Carlos Clemente gave me a job being a board op.
Yeah.
And what's really funny, Carlos, what happened, guys?
And you succeeded me in traffic. Remember?
Well, that's right. You did traffic a little bit.
Traffic as well.
That's right.
I just forgot that till now, because I was doing, I did a lot of things.
You did everything because you were the news director.
Yeah.
And when you hired me.
I wasn't news director yet when I hired. I was in charge of the board engineers then.
Okay.
And remember, I moved over to news director.
Okay. I thought you were news director at that time.
No.
Okay. Well, see, I was a kid. I was still in college. I mean, it was 1984, so I was, like 21, 22, but you're not a whole lot older than me, we just figured out.
I'm
You're
21 now.
Yeah, right. You're about 7 years older than me. But nonetheless, I was in Nashville, and I had transferred from Freed-Hardeman to Lipscomb. And there's a long story about that. It does not matter. But I got to Lipscomb. And I'm there, and my parents are like, "You got to get a job. We're not going to keep sending you money." And so I knew I wanted to do radio. I knew I wanted to do broadcasting. My original intent had been to try to go into television news, something like that. And so I was in school, but I was not a very good student. I hated school. I didn't want to be there. And so my parents were, you need to get a job, And so I opened the Yellow Book, okay? Because I had radio experience because I had been on the air in West Tennessee at the at the radio station Freed-Hardeman had, and it was a real radio station. It was not just a campus, it was a real radio station. So I had on-air experience. But a little upstart, I'm gonna get on the radio in Nashville, one of the biggest a huge market.
Oh, LAC had history.
Yeah, and I had no idea. I knew nothing about. I just was like, I like getting in front of the microphone and talking. It was so God. The way God directed my steps is just incredible. And so I literally got the Yellow Pages. For those who don't know, it's a big book. It was pre-Google, pre-Google. And so I opened up the Yellow Book to radio stations, and literally it was like WLAC, okay, and called and got you.
Yeah. Come on in. I'll talk to you.
Yeah. That's what, seriously, you tell me that's not God. Are you kidding me? I was at WLAC from 1984 till 2012.
Yeah, I left in 89.
Yep. I did 28 years as U-Turn Laverne because it wasn't long, because you figure you hired me in. So when I came in, just talk about what was my first interview like?
Well, I said, "This is a country girl." I said, "This is a country girl," but you had that personality.
Oh,
and
thanks.
I was more or less, when I interview people for jobs and stuff, I watch their body language and everything. And I'm real big at, when I talk to somebody, I look them dead in the eye.
Yes.
And your eyes were telling me something different.
Uh-huh.
And you're like, you had this puzzled look.
We're going to go there.
Yeah, we'll go there.
Go there. Okay.
And you're going, and I finally said to you, I said, "Okay, what's on your mind? What's bugging you?" And you go, "I can't." I'm just trying to do your voice. "You don't look like you sound on the telephone." And I said, "Really?" So you're a little confused. Spanish name, black guy, and it's just the stereotypical stuff. Yeah. It wasn't in a bad way.
No, not at all.
I read it.
Yeah. You did.
And I said, oh, okay.
Well, you got okay. So when Carlos was coming here today, the GPS was not bringing him right here. So he pulls up the number for WSGI and he gets Ilyu Maldonado. So Ilyu sees Clemente and he thinks, I'm going to talk to somebody who speaks Spanish. And so he starts in, and then y'all find out that because your father's from Puerto Rico.
Right.
And so that's the whole thing. And so y'all had like a little bonding moment too.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it. So. That's great. So funny.
But no, I think when I look back and worked with a lot of great people.
Yeah. Hoss Van Allen.
Oh. And, Hoss and I we shared an office together and everything. And I truly love that man.
Oh, yeah.
I miss him a lot. I miss that time at that station was a magical time.
Yeah.
We just had the right people.
Yeah.
We had the right people there. And it wasn't that we just worked together. We were a family.
Yeah.
Because, we did things together outside of work.
Yeah.
Everybody just kind of, there was a bond that was so special. And when I come back, I mean, it took me a while before I started coming back here. And, I went out to LA and things didn't work out the way I wanted to. And because I thought I'd retire in broadcasting.
You thought you'd stay in broadcasting,
stay, but, and I've always missed it. It's my first love. I mean, I went on, I got in the car business and,
and have done very, very well for yourself,
I've done well. I couldn't. The money I made in the car business, I couldn't make it in broadcasting.
Yeah, you could. That's true. Honest. You've done very well for yourself.
Never made that kind of money. Staying in broadcasting, but it's my first love.
Yeah,
always is. And when I started coming back and seeing the people and everything, everybody always used to ask me, "Are you ever going to get back in broadcasting?" No, not unless I can do what I want to do. I didn't want to be a reporter or anything like that anymore because everybody thinks it's so glamorous, and it's not.
Yeah,
I mean, when I did reporting, it was fun.
Yeah,
but it was a lot of hurry up and wait.
Yeah,
standing in the rain and cold and and all that. So that part I don't miss, but I miss the people.
Yeah.
More than anything. So.
Well, and I'll tell you though, Carlos, the one thing I have found is because of the way I'm teaching audio video production at Greenbrier. And I've told my principal, and I've said this many times on the airways, I want every one of the kids, because every one of them are broadcasters now. We're all broadcasters. Whether or not you're in broadcasting or not, you're broadcasting because of the social media aspect of our society.
Yeah.
We're out there all the time. Yeah. And so I don't know that what we had in radio really exists anymore. I really don't. I don't.
Doesn't.
Now, I'll tell you, I do know some people very well from 99.7. And that is a unique little community of broadcasters there because they're local. And it's live and local, and they have probably that camaraderie better within that. And I only know that because because Pamela Furr is a very good friend. Now, I'll be honest with you, her getting passed over for that show is just insane. I'll just publicly say that right now. Well, it's just because you know as well as I, the path for women behind the talk radio mic is not the same as it is for men.
No.
It's just a fact, and we all know it. And Pamela, I don't know this dude they hired, but Pamela should have been it. She took the ratings. It's don't get me down that road. But I know that there is a camaraderie in that group because I know several of them, and that's the one that Phil was working for when he died. And so they had a pretty tight. They had a really good relationship, and they still do, except for the shafting of Pamela Furr. But I'll just.
Well, there's no feelings there, is it?
No,
not Laverne. She will not come out.
Well, no, it's just so obvious, and people pretend it's not, and it's like, come on, it is. And it just, she should have had that slot, and everybody knows it. So there you go. I'm just going to leave it alone. Do you know Pamela very well?
No, I don't.
Okay,
no, I just know her from being in the, going.
She's excellent as a talk radio host. excellent. There's no reason why she's not in a slot somewhere. I mean, there's just no reason. She's excellent. And I don't know why. She just keeps getting passed over, but she does. But there you go.
Well, you know,
I digress.
the only thing I'll say about broadcasting, I mean, I went into the car business, right? Mm-hmm. And the skills that I use for interviewing people, I still do it every day.
Oh, yeah.
All right. When I'm talking to somebody about buying something, it's an interview.
Oh, okay.
It's an interview.
Yeah.
You know, so I have to get information out of them
Sure.
in order to give them what they want.
Right.
But yeah, so I still interview every day. But, you know, I'm gotten back into it in a way. I last year, you remember Rodney Lardner? She was here on the air at Channel 4.
Oh, okay.
And she's out in L.A.
Okay.
And she doesn't live far from where I work. And we actually connected in Nashville one time I was here. And she used to come by and see me, and she would always say, Carlos, you need to do a podcast.
Yeah.
I said, about what? You know? And finally one day she calls me and said, hey, I want you to meet some people.
Okay.
So we go out and we meet them, and I guess I impressed them. I don't know, you know. But they hooked me up with one of the L.A. Clipper coaches. He was green. He was trying to get into it.
Oh, okay.
And they said, well, with your experience, we're going to hook you up, and you can help teach him, you know, how
to do it. Very good.
And
okay.
I'm going, I haven't done it in 30 years.
Yeah. It's like riding a bike.
Yeah. So we wound up doing some shows together, and it was fun. And this year, and they called me back, and they want me to do a show on my own. The other show is kind of sports related. This is going to be different. It's going to be more about just life. So more about the inner self.
Okay, that's cool.
Because I've always been kind of deep.
Oh yeah.
And as I've gotten older, there's some things in life that need to be talked about. You know, one of the things I found, you have a big family, but outside your family, do you really meet people anymore at your age?
Yeah, I do because and I guess because I'm a teacher.
Right.
You know, so I meet new people all the time, and also I'm very involved in ministry, and so because of that, yes. But you have to be diligent about it. You have to seek it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, for me, once I'm away from work, I don't really talk to people anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I've become more of not a recluse, but just it's harder. Let me backtrack. This is what always has bothered me since I got out of broadcasting. I can't have intelligent conversations with people. Does that make any sense?
It makes perfect sense.
I have the most frustrating thing for me is that realizing once I got out of broadcasting and I got in the real world, people are like this.
Yeah. Yep.
They're like this. They don't want to pay attention to what's going around. Oh, I don't watch the news. I don't pay attention to this. This is not going to affect me. Everything that happens in this world affects you.
Yes, it does.
One time or the other.
Yeah.
And that still bothers me after 30-something years. It still bothers me, you know, that people think that way.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think that's wonderful. And see, that's a way, it's just like when they pulled me back, I had retired at 2012 from broadcasting, forced retirement. They laid me off. You know how that goes.
Yeah, I know. How that
whatever.
works.
I was ready to go. But so when they pulled me back into this, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to. I love it. And I got my toes back in the water, and it's just a perfect scenario. And so I've got to do something in broadcasting. You do too. So I think that's wonderful that that you did the podcast and you've got another opportunity to do one. And people, I don't know what you're talking about, people not wanting to talk. I've gotten completely out of politics, not because I don't care and not because I don't pay attention, but because I can't affect or change it. It's not within my power. So I'm going to do everything within my power to affect and change the world around me. The things I'm doing are part of that. And so I'm focused on that. So that's where my study goes. My study right now is in learning to be a teacher and just a better minister. And so I deal with politics when God makes me. If he don't make me, I don't. But we have to some degree. But like you're right, everybody's got their phones turned up. They've got all their distractions turned up to where they don't really pay attention to what's really going on around them. I have friends in Ukraine, people that just think they have forgotten there's a war in Ukraine. They forget these things are happening because they get it whenever it happens, and then it's just like it just kind of fades.
Well, the thing is, and this is what frustrates social media frustrates me.
Oh yeah.
Because when people start talking bad about the media, I have always considered myself still part of the media.
Right.
All right. I did it for a long time.
Right.
Is it perfect? No. All right. But social media, all right, it's killed radio.
Well,
to a degree.
To a degree, yeah.
But social media has allowed information to go unchecked.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And people, when they look
Very
at
good point.
when they look at Facebook and all this other stuff, and that's what they're talking about. No, we got to go back to the email. Mm-hmm. When people were able to start emailing, what did people email? Anything they heard or whatever, and it got passed on to you. It gets passed on, and it gets diluted or changed in some way. So you're taking that as fact. Mm-hmm. You're taking that as fact. All right? Mm-hmm. We are such a me society that we don't want to check anything. Mm-hmm. All right?
It's like, I like that. Okay.
Oh, okay, that works for me.
Works.
All right. Is it true? Well, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Are you going to find out if it's true? No, I'll just roll with it.
Information bias.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's what frustrates me most. I'm constantly in my work. I try. No, let's don't go there.
Yeah.
Don't go there. So I don't know. I think that's what got me back doing the podcast.
Yeah.
The final thing is that
you want to start having critical, thoughtful conversations with people again, and people that's one of the things that we talk about all the time in ministry, because I come to the table with a very different opinion than somebody else, and we sometimes was like, this is what I believe, this is what, well, why do you believe this? And you lay it out for them, and then they still will be like, well, I just don't agree. Well, then we have to agree to disagree. And then it's the concept of wrestling with Scripture. Okay. So from a biblical standpoint, we have to be willing to wrestle with Scripture whenever, we have examples throughout the Bible about how we're supposed to wrestle with it and understand it better. Well, people don't want to do that in society. They don't want to wrestle and critically think and analyze and check your facts. And that's one of the big things I talk to my students about in school is, don't come to me with, well, this is, look what I found. This is truth. I'm like, why is that true? Okay, is it just because they said it? And then we'll start backtracking it. And I will show them videos that I find on some sensational thing, and I'll put it up there. I'm like, what do you think about that? And then they'll start talking about it, and I'll be like, oh, did you know it's 15 years old, and it was done this, and it was done this, but it was presented as if it was current. And they're like, oh. I'm like, you got to check this stuff out, guys. Yeah, you got to check this stuff out.
That's the biggest thing for me is that people don't want to, I don't know what's
fact check.
Well, fact check is I guess that's the right word for it, but it's
just
everybody lives in their own. They live in a bubble,
right? Right. Information bias is what they want. Well, it's the reason why the algorithms on social media give you what you're looking at. I do photography, and so I look at a lot of things about photography. I get just inundated with all this stuff about photography. Well, if I go in and look at I look at stuff about Ukraine, so I will get more information from Ukraine because I've got friends over there, and so but you get what you're looking for. They send you. It's like, well, here, and
In my business, I come across all different cultures and things
oh, I
like
can
that.
imagine out in L.A. Oof.
And lately, all right, there was a lot of Armenian, Russian, and a lot of Ukrainian population in California. And I've had some people come in, and you kind of have to be careful what you talk about sometimes with people. But me, I kind of interview, kind of get the background. I want to find something in common with that person. All right, to make my job easier and make it an easier process for them. And I've met some Ukrainian families now. And not too long ago, I met a Russian family who has the family in Russia and the family in the Ukraine. And I asked them, what is really going on? And some of the information that we're hearing actually is true. On the Russian side is a different story than what's on the Ukrainian side. And he says, what's rough is that when they tell family members in Russia what's going on, they don't want to believe it because of what is being presented to them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I still
Yeah,
do
I
my
can
little
imagine.
probing
I can imagine.
when I'm talking to people.
Uh-huh.
I've gotten pretty good at picking up different languages now. Like talking to somebody the other day, I said, "Oh, you're speaking Russian.
Uh-huh.
How did you know?"
Yeah.
I'm around it enough.
Yeah, you just pick up an ear for it.
So,
Hang on, I'm gonna have to pause and take a break because
Right.
I knew this was gonna go way too quickly. And if you're just joining us, guys, this man is Carlos Clemente. He is the one who hired me for the first time in Nashville, Tennessee on WLAC. This man's responsible for it, right there. That's this man right here. I love him dearly, and just so tickled to have him in here with me. But I do want to pause for a second and say, be sure and check out my friends Barry and Rebecca Richards with the Exit Realty Garden Gate team. I spoke with Barry just the other day. He's so helpful to me. With he was a vice president of a media marketing company for 17 years and went full time with real estate because his bride had done the same. She had gone out of a radiology background many years ago and went full time with real estate. And she's one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist. They're just a great couple, so helpful. But because of his media background, he's helped me a lot with my audio video program at school. So I called him the other day about something, and he'll be out there helping me again. He's one who came in and taught my kids to fly the drone, taught me to fly the drones. Just can't say enough about him. And I always go there because they just are that involved in the community. You'll find them sponsoring all kinds of events. They're up in Cross Plains. They've been there 27 plus years, and they specialize in Robertson County properties, but also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky. Great couple, great friends, and a great couple to represent you at the real estate table with your buying or selling. It doesn't matter. You can connect with them, and they can help you with all the things. And if you want to get in touch with them, go to Sell with Becky. Go to sellwithbecky.com. sellwithbecky.com or robertsoncounty.com, or you can just give Rebecca a call at 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425, and please let them know U-Turn sent you. All right, and back in the studio with my friend Carlos Clemente talking about his life out in L.A. When did you move to L.A. exactly? What year?
My last day at LAC was October 31st, Halloween, 1989.
Wow. Okay.
And then
that was the year after I married because I got married in 88. Yeah. Okay.
And then I started at it was a Group W station at the time. It was KFWB, which was an all news station. I went out there as the news editor.
Okay.
So I sat in a big room.
Mm-hmm.
It's on like a stage.
Yeah.
Had all these computers.
Wow.
And the TV around. I had about 110 people working for me.
Wow.
And I just sat there, and everything you heard on the air was decided by me. Where the reporters went and
cool
and all that. And the biggest thing. All right, at that time, Nashville was the 44th market in the country.
Yeah.
LA is supposed to be number 2.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my.
Yeah, I've arrived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was a fluke. I got the job I answered an ad. I answered an ad. And out of the clear blue, they responded, you know?
Wow.
And
You call that a God thing.
yeah. And so
It just seems impossible.
I flew out there. No, I didn't fly out there. No. The news director was going to the broadcast convention, and it was being held in Kansas City.
Okay.
And I told him, I'll meet you there. Never saw this man. He was a voice on the phone. Mm-hmm. That's it. I go to Kansas City. I walk into the convention. I see a couple of people that I know.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, anybody know what this guy looks like? Big, tall, white dude.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm just walking around for about 15 minutes.
Uh-huh.
And I see a group of guys talking. I walk by. I hear the voice.
Oh, no. Yeah.
And I turned around and I walked up to him. Hi, I mentioned his name.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Carlos Clemente. And he's looking at me like, how did you find me? You know what my response was?
That's hysterical.
I said, because I'm that good.
There you go.
I
Good
did.
for you.
I did. I swear,
You picked up his voice in the crowd. That's fabulous.
And so what happened was we talked a little bit. I flew back here. And then I got another call to come back out.
Yeah.
So they put me up in a nice hotel in Hollywood and everything. And
Wow.
They had me assess their whole staff, who I thought was Deadwood and
Oh, my gosh.
stuff, right?
Yeah,
So
broadcasters love to see people like you come in, and
So
it's like,
nobody knew.
Yeah,
who
knew
I
what you're
was.
doing. Kind of like a consultant type
uh-huh.
thing.
And
Wow.
so,
Okay.
I had to do a report for them. So I did this report, and I left.
Okay.
And then they called me back again, and I met with some big wigs in the
Yeah.
company, and then they hired the job. I got
Wow.
hired, and the day that they hired me for the job was the day the San Francisco earthquake hit. If I had been, because my plane took off right when it hit, if I had been on the ground, I probably wouldn't have come back to Nashville right away, because I would have just gone with them to San Francisco
Right.
to cover it.
To cover it. Wow.
So that's,
Wow. Oh, my gosh.
I didn't know about the earthquake till I got to, I had a layover in Dallas.
Well, see, and it's so funny because, that was I had been married for about a year when you left. And all of a sudden, everybody's like, did you know Carlos has left? I'm like, what? You just left. Pretty much. It was just such a, it was
No,
just
they
such
had
a
it.
shock.
Yeah,
Did they have a
they had a
gathering for
party.
you?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. Or maybe it was that you were going to leave. So we did have a party for you. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I've slept since then. So we had a celebration.
yeah.
See, they didn't give me a party. They just told me by on the phone. So I was like,
'cause,
so we had a gathering. I just didn't remember
Yeah,
that. Okay.
You weren't there, because I have pictures of that.
Okay. Well, maybe that's it. Maybe it was something. Maybe I was somewhere, and then it's like, well, Carlos is leaving, because by that time I was more. And you and I were doing different things at the station. I was, Dave Nichols was my boss at the time, and so that's who I reported to, and he was the one who put me on FM.
Right.
And so because that's the thing, I was pestered the heck out of him, to get on the air, and so we weren't really kind of running in along the same lines and stuff. So I don't think I really realized what was going on with you until it was happening, because it happened pretty quick too.
Yeah, because the only thing I was doing the news, but I was also doing on FM side, because I found some tapes the other day. I was doing the 106 Question Man, where I would go out and ask people.
Oh, funny.
Ask the question of the day.
Yeah, and that was with.
And then I would edit it down, and it would run on the FM side.
Okay. Okay. So it's been a minute. This is a lot of years. Wow.
If I couldn't get enough people, and I think I even used A. Laverne. This is Here's a question.
Yeah.
Give me something.
Yeah. You did all kinds of stuff like that, and I start talking to people about those old days in radio, and just so many memories, and we'll get on the digital auditors or the digital editors where you can you edit your audio just with little clicks, and I talk to them about the reason why things. I don't know if it still looks like a blade or little razor blades because we used to cut tape with razor blades. Yeah. And I talked to them about, taking and getting a sound effect and then you set it somewhere and you're like, oh, where is it? And you were taping it back in, trying to put it all together like a puzzle. Right. But it was fun.
Oh, that was
so much fun.
Editing
I
music
loved it.
and
yes,
and
it was so much fun.
When you're doing your stories and
yes.
you edit them, that was...
It's good times, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Meet Gwen Harder. Y'all say hello.
How you doing?
Y'all say hello. Gwen Harder comes walking in, and she comes in and helps. She comes in and sits with me 7:30 every Friday, and she and I. We became friends because of Glenn Beck. She was a big Glenn Beck fan, right? I think that's really, it's all back because of Glenn.
Well, your story with, I heard the voice. She was standing in front of me in Walmart talking to her husband or somebody. And I went, I know that voice.
Oh, how funny.
That's the traffic lady.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess that, because I forget. And I've gotten a lot of that over the years because I'm loud and I do have a distinctive sound because of the twangs. And a lot of it, that's one of the reasons why I've never gotten out of this market is I've applied for some things that were like with Christian radio that would put me in other markets. They're like, you sound too Nashville. No, you can't. You can't leave Nashville.
Yeah, it's funny you say
I'm going to have to do another break here, but go ahead. Yeah.
You remember I used to do a lot of stuff for network, CBS News, right? I go out to L.A., and when I left KFWB, KNX was the big CBS affiliate out there. And I go in there and I start working part-time, doing some writing.
Right.
And they had a reporter's thing open. And I applied for it.
Okay.
And they said, oh, you don't have the L.A. sound. I said, wait a minute. You knew who I was when I walked in the door, right? Because as soon as you saw my name, oh, we've used your stuff on the network.
Yeah.
But yet, I'm good enough for network, but I'm not good enough to be a reporter here.
It makes no sense, does it? Yeah, a lot of it. Let me do my break. Y'all talk amongst yourselves for a second, and I'm going to do my break real quick. I've neglected my commercials here because I get to talking to my friend. Let's talk about Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening Center. I got to get by there today. I'm hoping they're going to have some green beans coming out of the garden. Amy was saying, I went by there Monday or Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday, and she had been picking in the garden, but it was so muddy she wasn't able to get to the green beans. So thinking that maybe today and tomorrow she'll have some green beans for us. They've got great produce coming out of the garden. That's one of the fun things that people don't really, I think people forget that Amy just loves everything to do with the outdoors. And so she raises a beautiful garden, sells that produce along with everything else with all the flowers. And they've got some beautiful hydrangeas right now. Absolutely gorgeous hydrangeas they would love to put in your home. And they've also just got all kinds of wonderful things in the greenhouse, beautiful hanging baskets, whatever it is you need. They've got gift items inside the store. If you go out and go in the store, of course, that's where I get my CBD products that are Robertson County CBD, produced from the products that are the plants that her brother Bill grows. Great stuff happening at Corbin. This is a really good time to stop by and see them. You can see them Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5, and then Sunday they're there 1 to 4. They also want to remind you to come by the farmers market tomorrow. They will be there at the farmers market, or you can just come by the store at 4920 Highway 161, 4920 Highway 161 here in Springfield, or you can give Amy a call if you have questions, 615-384-3185, 615-384-3185. And when I did ask her the question of the day, will they have mums this year? Yes, they will, about mid-September, she's thinking. So all the things you need for your garden, go and see them. Tell them U-Turn sent you. Okay, guys, let's get back in it. Do you have any questions, Gwen?
Oh my gosh.
This is old school radio sitting here.
I was telling him I'm such a radio geek. I'm such a radio geek. And I'm like 80s radio.
Well,
when
he was there.
When it was just crazy.
We were there.
Crazy. See, kids don't have that today.
No, they don't.
Kids don't have the personalities to listen to, and you've got oh my gosh, what is it going to say today, and what is it going to do today, and so that's been lost to automation.
When did you start at LAC?
1981.
Okay, because I didn't get to Nashville until '83, and it was in my last year that my parents were like, go get a job.
I was there 8 years.
Okay, 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay,
Which is
wow.
a good run for radio.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I went
a long
through 4 ownership
Yeah.
changes
Yeah,
while I was there. I survived.
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, so, because I worked with Dave at WSIX.
Dave Nichols.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
really?
I was at and I went to LAC before Dave. So I was
Okay.
there before Dave was.
Okay, how long were you at SIX?
What, about a year?
Okay.
Because I was at Channel 2 as well.
Okay.
Because I had a radio show, and because I was promotion. That was fun. Promotions manager, black guy promotion manager at one of the biggest country stations. Okay, Spanish name, and when I would go out on stuff, and people look, what? You like country music? No, I like the paychecks. but
That's great.
I did.
That's
I
fun.
had a half-hour show, and you remember Sylvia, the singer?
Yeah.
First radio interview, first interview she ever did, I did it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
'Cause she
Oh,
was
fun.
working for RCA Records then. Mm-hmm. And she was trying to get started. And I said, why don't you come on down? Let's talk about your music. And
That's cool.
And I after she made it, I ran into her one day, and she said, thank you. I said,
Aw.
for what? She says, you taught me how to
Interview.
Yeah.
interview.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
So that was fun. And then that led to a half-hour TV show
Okay.
on Channel 2 that ran on Sundays. It was the public affairs thing.
Yeah.
And that's when I did the Klan interview and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But that was
Yeah.
back then.
He's done some interesting stuff, guys.
It's funny is when I first got in the car business, sales manager is from Texas. And, we were, LAC's 50,000 watt clear channel.
Right.
So he says, Carlos, you're in Nashville, right? And I go, yeah. Why? He says, I used to listen to a sports show out of Nashville on Saturday nights. And this guy hated the Dallas Cowboys. I said, really? And I said, what kind of things you used to hear him say? And he repeated, well, yeah. I said, did you ever hear it? And I said something else. And he goes, what? Say that again. And I said it. I kind of used the radio voice.
Yeah.
Did it. And he goes, that was you.
Yeah.
I said,
That's
yeah,
great.
it was. But what was funny, here's 30 years go by.
Yeah.
I'm in the service lobby of where I'm working now.
Uh-huh.
And we got these lanyards we have to wear.
Yeah.
And it says Nashville because that's where I was born in Nashville.
Uh-huh.
And so this lady, I'm petting her dog, and she looks at my name and she says, Nashville. And she says, you were on the radio, weren't you?
Oh, how funny.
And I go, yeah, I was. She said, I used to listen to you all the time. I said, really? I said, oh, thank you.
There you go. Isn't that
This
funny?
is 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was 30 years later. And
Yeah.
she, just because she saw the name
Yeah.
and she goes, she made the instant association. I went, oh, okay. Whatever.
That's hysterical. But it's just like you said, we built personalities.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that I could do the whole U-turn Laverne thing now and anybody care. You know what I mean? Because when they nicknamed me U-turn and that started, it built up that personality,
Right.
just made it kind of carry over from station to station, owner to owner. It just it would work. Well, nowadays, because of what it is, it would be hard to build that, I think, because it's just not the same. I mean, it's all canned and I mean, for the most part.
I tell you what's funny. I started doing the podcast, right? Mm-hmm. And I got 3 daughters now. Imagine me with kids.
Beautiful girls too, by the way. Oh my gosh, they're stunning.
Angelica, Francesca, and Leah.
Hi, girls.
Right? Francesca says, "Oh, Daddy, you're a celebrity now." I said, "No." I said, "I've had my day."
Yeah,
She says, "That was radio, Daddy."
yeah.
All right.
But the podcast makes you a
You
celebrity.
made it.
Yeah. Now you're a celebrity with the podcast because that's what's happening now.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Okay,
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. That
Same
is so
thing for
funny.
me, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, because of my name, I've always had a degree of celebrity because being related to who I am, it's always been a question. People will ask that before they ask, "How are you?" You know, oh, are you related to? What's the connection? You know?
Well, explain it to people that don't know. So,
My last name is Clemente.
right.
Okay, father's from Puerto Rico. My cousin is Roberto Clemente, who's in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Right.
All right. The other thing that happens when you say, "Oh, he was my favorite player," you don't have to say that to me.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't have to be your favorite player because you know.
Yeah.
He's connected to me.
Yeah, but anyway, it's.
But they hear the name and they're like, what? Yeah.
So I've always had that, and I've never played off of that.
Mm-hmm.
When I did sports, no, I didn't change my name. Mm-hmm. You know, because it was sports related name.
Sure.
Fine, you know. So,
Yeah.
But I'm proud. He was a great man.
Is that your phone? Okay, come on. Okay, that's a good place to pause and let me do another one of my breaks because I got another one. Carlos's phone, he forgets the broadcast rules of course, we didn't have to turn off our phones when we walked into the studio back in the day. Yeah, there you go. But we're going to pause and we're going to talk about the folks at the races. We want to get you out to the races. Want to be sure and follow Highland Rim Speedway. Just pull them up on social media, Highland Rim Speedway, and you'll see Veterans Motorplex, big banner up there. Jerry kept the Highland Rim Speedway social media because they had a great following. It made perfect sense. But when you get to the page, you're going to see that the banners have changed. Racing season goes through October. So if you want to get to the races, now is a great time to do it. They're going to be racing through October on Saturday nights. 4 o'clock is when the gates open. The racing happens from 6 to 9. Now, if there's any kind of changes in the racing, you always want to check in before, like if you think it might rain or something like that, go to Highland Rim Speedway and check it out because what you'll find there is any kind of an announcement, if there's any kind of a change to the racing schedule. And they got a great little interview that they put up last night. They do it pretty much every Thursday that they talk about what's coming up for the races that weekend. And it's a great little interview that they put up, and they're very faithful about doing that. They do a great job with it. And they put up, last week's winners, what to anticipate as you're coming to the races this week. Sometimes there'll be some teenagers out there racing. It is so much fun. You see the local favorites. They'll do big wheel races for the kiddos. Great concession stand. It's a great time. I'll continue to remind you if you can find one of these papers. Now, they haven't been, they put these out at the end of the school year. But if you can get a hold of a Let's Talk Trash magazine, that back page is worth $40. You can take that back page of that paper and you can get in up to 6 kids and 2 adults for free because that $40 ticket, you can buy that ticket and take your whole family to the races. But that's what the value of this is, and it's good throughout the entire racing season. If you can get your hands on any of these magazines, can't have this one because it's mine because I'm going to take my grandson out to the races again. But get out there to Veterans Motorplex. This weekend, gates open at 4. Racing starts at 6. It'll go until about 9 o'clock. And they're, of course, in Greenbrier, 6801 Kelly Willis Road. 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier. Call 615-643-8725. 615-643-8725. Tell them you turned Cincha. Carlos and Gwen in the house. Carlos Clemente, if you just joined us, is the guy who hired me in Nashville, Tennessee. Thank you very much. Took a chance on me, and I love him to pieces. Will forever.
And you were all of how old?
By 21. Yeah, 21. I was the kid. What is so funny now is because I'm in the school and I think I'm one of the oldest teachers, if not the oldest teacher. I'm very oftentimes in situations I'm the oldest because everybody in my age group's retiring because they weren't in broadcasting for their entire career. And, because my husband, we ran a roofing company and I was in broadcasting. So we don't really have a real great path of retirement, but that's okay because we have found our new passion. We're teaching, and we're just so very excited about it. And it too, it's one of those schedules for somebody like us that have. I have so many teachers that they're exhausted because they've been teaching their entire career. Well, we've always done all the other things. And so now they're retiring to do other things.
Right.
We did it opposite.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be such a good fit for us. It was wonderful for me last year. I mean, I've got a lot to learn. It's a little overwhelming, but I think once I get my rhythm going, it is just, I'm so excited about it. And to have us both on the same schedule is going to be wonderful. So I digress. But, what do you want to talk about? We've got about 10 minutes. I still have one little ad to do. We do need to mention the rodeo. Get to the rodeo this weekend. Happening tonight and tomorrow night. We'll talk a little bit more. Yeah, it's Fairgrounds Rodeo. Trent Cobb is going to be in here on Tuesday to unpack everything going on at the fairgrounds. Senator Kerry Roberts is coming in Monday. I am stunned. God bless you, sir. His daughter's getting married tomorrow. And he's supposed to have been in on Monday because he comes in on fourth Monday. And I was like, yeah, don't even think about trying to get in here. And I said, we have a fifth Monday if you want to come in. Well, he's coming in. So I'm
Well,
stunned.
the wedding's done, so.
That's true. So it's kind of like, but, and maybe he'll talk to you a little bit about some of the things that are going on out at his property. They're doing some really cool stuff out there. So we'll see if he kind of brings that up. But what else you want to talk about? Oh, and there's a fish fry tonight too. Yes, it's Baptist Men's Annual Fish Fry. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Okay, Bethel Baptist tonight. It's free, guys. 6:30 p.m. Free fish fry. Go out there. It's for the guys. So go ahead, Carlos. You're going to say something.
No, you talk about being a teacher. I taught it when I was at MOT. I taught while I was there.
Okay.
And John High and stuff. And Don Aaron was one of my students. And
Seriously?
Ken Gerson
Oh, how
was one of my
funny.
students.
Oh,
Joe
how funny.
Fisher.
I didn't know that you did that. Okay.
Joe Fisher. That was before LAC. That
Okay.
was before SIX. That was back in the late 70s.
Okay.
So I'm proud to see some of the people that I taught.
That is
there
very
that
cool.
have gone on. So
Yeah,
that's
well,
why.
me. I mean,
Yeah,
you talk about the interview skills. I learned that from you, brother. I mean, you taught me so much. And I just can't say enough, I mean, about what I've learned from you. And again, giving me that first job in Nashville.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Well, you're talking about being a teacher. My middle daughter
Mm-hmm.
was working. She graduated last year, or what year is this? Okay.
This is 23.
Okay, she graduated. She graduated 22. Yeah, 22.
Uh-huh.
And she wants to be a teacher.
Awesome.
She wants to work with special ed children.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
She's working with autistic kids now.
Wow.
I'm so proud of her. I'm
She's
proud
yes.
of all my
gifting.
girls.
Nice. She just want to be a
I'm proud
teacher.
of all my girls. My oldest graduated in 20, which was a tough time because
Yeah.
they didn't have a real graduation. She had a
Yeah.
virtual graduation.
Oh,
And my youngest graduated from high school at the same time, and we did that drive-by thing.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
no fun. I mean,
yeah.
but the youngest one is, all my girls draw. I wish I had a way I could
Show you the art. Yeah.
show some of their art and everything, but it's on Facebook. If you go to my
Okay.
thing, you
I'll go
see a
check
lot
them
of my
out. Yeah.
stuff. But the youngest one, she graduates next year, and I'm just so proud of my girls. I look back and since you knew me when I was single and,
Yeah.
and all that, to see that I'm a father,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
all right,
Yeah.
and watch these people, they develop into people,
Right. Right.
and last weekend, my middle daughter and I went to a ball game.
Yeah. I
And
saw
it
the
was
picture.
it was just so much fun. I live for my kids,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I look at Laverne, I look at her, God, look at all these people in here, and to see how she's developed and stuff over the years. And I look and I said, she turned out all right.
Yeah. Well,
I made a good choice with her.
you had such
So-
a big part of that. Yeah.
But I remember Les Jameson.
Oh, yes. Oh, Les.
He came out a couple times to see me.
In California,
Yeah,
really?
He came out, and we went to dinner one time at this little kind of dive place.
Yeah.
But the reason I took him there because you never know who you see in there.
True.
And
Okay.
there were some stars in there when we went that night, and Les comes up and starts talking to him.
He's like, forget that. It's like,
he
yeah.
just starts talking to him and stuff.
Yeah.
But
He's not a local.
yeah, he came out a couple of times, and that was nice to see him. And
Mm-hmm.
the love I have for the people in my LAC days.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of jobs, But I look back at that time, and it's so special. All the people that were there. And like I said, when I look at you, and like I said, from the very first day, and what's gone on with you, when I saw you were running for Congress, and I said, Laverne's running for Congress? Really? But I was, I was just proud of you.
Well,
I was just proud
of
you
you
because
too, bro.
That was a tough decision to do, because you really have to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
People you say, Carlos, you're going to wind up in politics. No, no, too many skeletons.
Yeah.
See, I put my skeletons
Yeah.
out there. That was the one thing, because you knew me. That's one thing that you don't even realize is the struggles I was going through when you first met me. And my little book, Jessie, I write all about it. And I went through a lot of ups and downs in those early days of radio. I was really struggling trying to find myself. And so I developed a few skeletons in my closet. And so because of my association with Glenn Beck, he has always been like, man, just tell him. Just tell him. Just tell you stuff.
Because he's got a lot of skeletons too.
And so and a lot of writing the book, Jessie, was about just, here's my stuff. And so I didn't have any secrets. I didn't have any secrets. You want to talk about it? We'll talk about it.
Right.
And so that's why I didn't mind putting myself out there. My problem with politics is just the nonsense of it all.
Right.
Just the because like I said, if I'd had the money, I would be in Washington, because I could have beat them dudes. And I love John Rose to pieces. Oh, I could have beat him. I don't have any doubt, because I understood federal politics. I don't know anything about local government, but I understood the national side of it very well. And I felt very directed by God to do it. I didn't win, but doing that opened up everything I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Everything I'm doing right now was opened up because I ran for Congress. And I mean, it's just the path.
One of the things that I tell people, because at this age, so many people talk about, oh, I wish I could have done this. I wish I could have done that. And I tell them, I said, why didn't you do it?
Just do it.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. What is success? Success is making the effort to do something. All right. Failure is not trying to do it.
Right.
Amen.
Yep.
Well
Okay.
said.
All right. That's what I try to preach to people. If you try something and it fails, did you not succeed?
Absolutely.
All right. Did you not succeed?
You did.
You made the effort.
Yep.
Something happens, it doesn't work out. You say, yeah, I tried to do it, but
There you
it
go.
wasn't in the cards.
Yep.
But you know what? I did it.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. And that is, I think, is a big problem with people our age and in society in general.
Yeah.
And
the thing is, you're learning. You're going to learn something along the way. And who knows, in 2 years, what you learned when you failed is going to turn out to be a success.
Yeah.
Because I've learned it from what I didn't accomplish here, but look at what I'm accomplishing.
Well,
over
see what
here.
you said about people our age. People our age, they've got this retirement mindset, and they think they're done. No, there's so many more. I mean, just my husband and I changing and going into teaching now for the first time. But I've got so many other things I'm working on. I live by the Colonel Sanders standard of thought is you're never too old to try something new. And Colonel Sanders, I think he started Kentucky Fried Chicken in his 60s, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm like, oh no,
We're just getting started.
We're just getting started, y'all.
Well,
We're just getting started.
Look, Laverne, if you had told me I would be in the car business,
Yeah.
all right, it was a total accident. All right. It was one of those things. I was looking for another broadcast job. All right. Going all around LA, looking at a job. I did get hired for news director of a little tiny station. And the general manager sits me down, Carlos, I really want you, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, what's my pay?
It's horrible. That's what I tell the kids.
When he told me how much he was going to pay, I looked him in the eye and I said, what are they paying you?
Yeah, really.
I did.
Yeah.
All right. We actually became good friends.
Yeah.
But I said, what are they paying you?
Yeah.
If you're offering me this,
They can't be paying you
They can't
much.
be paying you.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Is it worth it?
No, because I said no. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
And
but
so you're like, I got to make a living.
yeah, but
you know. So, yeah. I get it.
it was funny because my girlfriend at the time, she hands me this ad. She says, "Well, Carlos, you love cars. Why don't you try it?" No, no,
Yeah.
sales, no way. Okay, I go down there. I had gotten a job offer in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City. No. Okay. All right.
We're going to be out of time in just a minute here, so go quickly. And I got to still do an ad.
But
I wish we had more
anyway,
time.
I tried it. Probably one of the worst job interviews I ever did.
Yeah.
But because I knew cars and everything else, they called me back.
Yeah.
And
there you go. And I mean, you've won all kinds of awards. It's been very good to you, and you've done very well. And that's why I tell the kiddos, I said, you can have in broadcasting is like being an actor now. Dream big, and you may make it, but you better have a way to make a living because it does not pay well.
Oh, there are a lot of being in LA. Just like some of the songs in the movies, that's the way it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So dream big, guys. You can do anything, but you do have to make a living. Yeah. And so
it's a very narrow.
Yeah. Oh, there's so much more I could say, but I mean, we're done. We're out of time, guys. Oh my gosh, you're going to be are you going to go to the luncheon tomorrow? With Brian Mason and all them. Yes. Okay, I'll see you there.
I was the first time I've been asked.
Okay, well, see, because it's usually during the week, and I never go. I've not been, but maybe one time years ago.
I'm excited.
Yes, I'm going to that, and then I'll see you at the ceremony tomorrow night. We're inducting the two I know are Devin O'Day and of course Phil Valentine, our dear friend. But Carlos Clemente, the man who hired me.
Well, maybe I'll get nominated.
Just
sometime,
stick around for a second, but we're over time. But just real quick, let me do the Cumberland Connect, and then we'll come back and just say goodbye. But Cumberland Connect, guys, while I got Gwen sitting here, I mean, you had
if you can get it.
This is only for people that are Cumberland Electric customers. If you're a Cumberland Electric customer, you're going to have access to Cumberland Connect. And I think by now most people realize that, but if they're not in your neighborhood yet, they're going to be there very, very soon. I think over the next year, they'll pretty much get everybody access because the internet is a utility now. It has replaced our phone lines, and it is time. You need good connectivity. All of us, we're part of the Gig Club. $80, you can get a gig in your house. It's amazing. I am stunned at how quick I can upload photos and video now. It's just astounding how I can stream things. It is just a game changer for you, technology. It changes your property value, guys. Believe it or not, my kids, when they were moving, needed to work from home, and they didn't come build on my place, partly because they didn't have good internet.
Right.
And that changed at the first of the year. And now you can have a gig if you want it. And you can call them at 1-800-987-2362, 1-800-987-2362, or you can go to cumberlandconnect.org, cumberlandconnect.org. Put in your zip code. It'll tell you exactly when they're going to be in your neighborhood, knocking on your door. And if you're somebody that's struggling financially, they've got the Affordable Connectivity Program providing qualifying households with monthly credit to help pay for internet services. And if you're eligible, you could receive credit of up to $30 per month toward broadband services. And they've got packages that start at $30 per month. Can't beat it. Cumberland Connect, one of our wonderful sponsors here at One Street Over. Get a hold of them today and tell them U-Turn sent you, and Gwen and everybody, and Carlos, even though he doesn't know what Cumberland Connect is. But anyway, all right, guys, say goodbye because we're over time.
Right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We'll do this next year when you come back. We'll do it again. You want to? Then you can fill me in on how you're doing with your podcast because you're going to do that.
Yeah.
All right.
Start working on it.
We'll just make this a yearly event, Carlos.
There you go.
All right, buddy. Love you, brother. Love you so much.
Right.
Thank you, Gwen.
You're welcome.
And we'll talk to you guys. Hey, Senator Kerry Robertson is going to be here Monday after his daughter's wedding. Pray for them this weekend. I'm sure it'll be wonderful. God bless. This is 1100 WSGI.